This is going to be one that you guys are going to enjoy because you had Jerry Rice, the GOAT, join Fred Warner on the Warner House podcast to discuss a bunch of different things. It is absolutely worth a watch, but we are going to react to a specific thing that Jerry Rice had to say about 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy. And it's about this guy over my shoulder right here. If I could figure it out, boom, that guy, Joe Montana, and a comparison that we have. But before we get into that, Fred Warner asked Jerry Rice about who should be the MVP. And there are obviously two very strong candidates on the San Francisco 49er, Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy. And it's an interesting debate because we understand the importance of both players. While the MVP is typically a quarterback award, but Christian is just so dynamic and so impactful to this offense. It's really hard to pick and choose. Well, listen to Jerry Rice talk about that decision and that thought process right here.
We have obviously such a talented roster, and you went down the line and you named everybody on that offense. Being a non-quarterback, we have two guys right now who are up in contention for that MVP award. All right, Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey. What are your thoughts on that? Who do you believe deserves to win the MVP? I'll let you speak on it. As a receiver, who do you think should win the award?
I think both guys. I wish that, because what's happening here is just it's amazing, because you see how valuable CMC is if he's not in the game, and also Brock Purdy. So I mean, because we always talking about we talk about that missing piece, and you have to be also part of a chain. And if you're a weak link in that chain, you're not going to have success. You're not going to win football games. You're not going to win championships.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see us winning a championship, without Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see us winning a championship without CMC.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how this is going to unfold, but I think both guys really deserve that, man.
That's awesome. I mean, split it right down the middle. We'll split the trophy in half.
Yeah.
Give it to both guys. And hey, here's a little Super Bowl ring with it. There you go.
Yeah.
And right off in the sunset, man. Do what you got to do.
Honestly, if there was any year to have a co-MVP, I would be fine with Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy sharing that award together. It's a really hard decision because I've talked about it both ways. I recognize how dominant and how impactful Christian McCaffrey is, but I also recognize the MVP is typically a quarterback award. But on top of that, it's not just a quarterback award. Brock Purdy is playing like the best quarterback in the NFL right now. So, you got Lamar Jackson right there. Outside of that, who else is playing as good as those two guys right now? And so that's why this matchup against the Ravens will likely determine who will be the MVP, and it will probably come down to Brock Purdy or Lamar Jackson. So this is a really big game. But outside of that, it's really cool to hear Jerry Rice compare Brock Purdy to Joe Montana. I'm not going to say anymore, but take a listen to what Jerry Rice had to say about Brock and Joe, and then we'll react to it on the other side.
Yeah, man. So, but just just to watch those guys, and to see the determination, and I'm gonna go back to Brock one more time, because Brock reminds me a lot of Montana. His coolness. He doesn't get rattled.
Mm-hmm.
And you need your quarterback to be that way.
Right.
And with CMC, like I said, I mean, coming out of the backfield, catching the ball, rushing, scoring touchdowns, he does it all.
Does it all. I mean, I'm so happy to be a part of this team where I have these type of guys that I get to watch while I'm on the sideline. It's like I'm in the stands, being able to watch the show that they putting on for us.
Honestly, this year has been a lot about gathering opinions, gathering takes, gathering film reference, gathering stats, and then also dealing with detractors. Obviously, here on this channel, we have been giving Brock Purdy his respect since day one when he entered against the Dolphins. You could see on tape what he was doing was remarkable for a rookie, let alone Mr. Irrelevant, let alone this short kid out of Iowa State coming in and just balling and going undefeated all the way until he gets hurt in the NFC Championship game. So that's something that we've always, acknowledged. Brock, what he's done, the expectations that he's beat immediately, and just his process back from injury, and then throughout the season. And you've seen him get back from injury and improve each and every week. And even when he had that patch, he was still playing well. He just had some interceptions. And when you listen to Jerry Rice, who's the GOAT, and again, it's like when you ask someone about their opinion, who better to ask than Jerry Rice, the greatest wide receiver of all time, who played with both Joe Montana and Steve Young? And he says that Brock reminds him of Joe Montana, and for the reasons of the intangible qualities. Now, obviously, there are some similarities in regards to physical traits and things like that, but that's not what Jerry talks about. This channel here, me, Brad, talks about consistently the importance of quarterback intangibles and how Brock has elite quarterback intangibles, and it has just gone over a lot of people's heads. They really don't understand the concept of how important the intangibles are. And right now, you have Jerry Rice, the GOAT, speaking about the intangibles that made Joe Montana great that he sees in Brock Purdy. And that is the biggest thing. The leadership ability from a quarterback, the ability to get the ball where it needs to be, operate an offense, and lead. And that's what Brock has done from the jump. Coming into a locker room that had Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, and just absolutely taking it over as Mr. Irrelevant. People don't understand that aspect of this. And so they aren't able to kind of rationalize Brock outside of what he just does in between the white lines. Brock Purdy's evaluation goes beyond what he does on the football field. A lot of people don't pay attention to this, but there's a lot of preparation that goes in from Monday to Saturday that determines what happens on Sunday. And from everything that I've heard, whether it was like a piece by David Lombardi who talked about how Brock Purdy helped Christian McCaffrey get up to speed with the playbook and their preparation together. And now we're seeing those two guys flourish together. And then all the things that he does from a leadership standpoint. This team is completely galvanized by Brock Purdy. The type of player he is, they all say the same thing. Dude is like, he's like robotic. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. He knows how to check you when you need to be checked. And again, nothing's driven from ego. It's all just he's about his business, and the players respect that. And then it sets the tone where that becomes the standard, and then everyone else is expected to fall in line. There's so many interpersonal elements to Brock Purdy's game that doesn't get discussed enough, but to me is one of the most important elements of his game. His ability to be a leader, his ability to manage adverse situations, and by doing so, being calm, being cool and collected, you raise up everyone's game around you. And a lot of people don't understand that ability, and they don't understand that concept. And this is, again, you got the GOAT talking about it. You've got Jerry Rice, who's played with two of arguably the best quarterbacks of all time. Listen, he knows what it is. You don't just throw out comparisons. You don't just say those things because you know it's going to be a headline. These guys have pride also in being right, part of it as well. And that's the thing. It's like I don't think Jerry says this if he doesn't mean it. And I think that's why this opinion has a lot of weight to it. Now, on this channel, what we have been doing is gathering opinions about Brock Purdy like infinity stones and being like, oh, this one's false, throw it out. Oh, this one's false. Oh, this is a good one. This one aligns with tape. This one aligns with stats. This one aligns with someone who actually knows football. That's a good one. Jerry taking Joe Montana comparison and putting it's like the final infinity stone. Brock emerges victorious. I love it. I love it. Doing what I do, I find myself sifting through a lot of opinions. So when I'm able, and listen, I don't agree with everyone's opinion all the time, even the greats. I don't. It's just, you have to be able to discern for yourself. But I don't think Jerry is wrong in the slightest here. And how can you say he is? Only he can share that opinion because he's experienced it. He's played with we call him the best quarterback of all time. Obviously, Tom Brady gets that accolade because of the Super Bowls that he's won. But we call him the best quarterback of all time, and Joe Montana. And Jerry's like, yeah, they're very similar. I'm just saying, what is it going to take to wake the doubters up? I don't know. But if you are a 49er fan and you're rocking with this channel, you know the truth and you know how good Brock Purdy is. Let me know what you guys think about what Jerry had to say on the Warner House podcast. I will link the entire interview in the description so you can go down to the description, click the link, and you can watch the full interview in its entirety. I definitely recommend it. It's a good one. It's a good one. Go see it. Fred Warner's podcast with his wife Sydney. They're doing a phenomenal job over there, and you definitely need to go. It's becoming like appointment podcast. So definitely go check it out if you haven't already. Link in the description, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.